we were talking, you were talking about some of the things that need to be done, and I was just wondering, can you tell us more about that? I mean, be it the kind of anti-conversion law that India actually needs to, put a limit to this kind of activity, or the other ways in which, let's say, either legislatively or at a more grassroots level, even individuals really, they have to be aware, they have to understand this, be it Hindus or Christians, they have to understand the bigger sort of factors that are at play. So what kind of changes or what kind of things do you think should happen, be it at the political level or at a societal level among individuals?
I will start at an individual level or at a society level, because you cannot achieve the common goal only whether by a legislation or by the society. Um, as of now, I find zilch effort to revive Hinduism by the Hindus. Okay. Um, if you ask, as I said, when I went for a program yesterday, nobody was even prepared or knew any shlokas, right, or any mantra. Okay. So that actually is proof that there is nothing happening at home. Whereas in a Christian home or in a Muslim home, at least you have a Sunday or a Friday where somebody is forced to go to his particular place of worship. uh, I will I will be very open in telling that how many people Hindus have the scriptures in their house,
Right.
right? That's one thing. Second thing is, if they have scriptures in their house, is it in a language they can read it? So these are grassroots effort that needs to be done. The society, Hindu society has not woken up. I'm sorry to say that Hindu society has not woken up. If ever there is anything that is to be done, it's very remote. Because you know what, there's one more joke which I see is this: every Hindu thinks he's a philosopher, and these two philosophers don't agree with each other.
Right.
So in the bargain, somebody else steals the sheep and goes away. So there needs to be a union of thought and a common ideal, common coming together, coming together of people, which has not happened. Thankfully, the Ram Mandir is one which is to a certain extent united a lot of people. Right? The Ram Mandir movement, the temple being built. There's some program that's happening now, so that's united. But that will not be enough. That will not be enough. See, it has to happen at families, and it's not that it was not happening. We are a country which had all these practices. It was destroyed methodically. It was destroyed by the Europeans. Right? We are a family where we had probably a temple in every street, and these temples were the center of a lot of activity, gatherings, meetings, prayers, and a lot of discussions and all that. So, and our education system was rich. Right? We had the gurukulas, which was destroyed, and these gurukulas were the center of a lot of education and imparting of religion. All this was destroyed, right? Well, it was methodically destroyed by the Europeans, and we need to revive these grassroots levels. Today, if you look at the gurukulas, unfortunately, they are high-end gurukulas where you need to pay a huge amount of money, right? Whereas the missionary schools, which are enjoying every possible benefit from the government, is thriving. So, what do you expect when students and children come out of these institutions? Right? What do you expect them? They will not. They will not know. Probably they will only know to become a comedian and start abusing Hinduism in comedy shows. That's what these are the output is, right? So there is no constructive effort at a society level, and that is what needs to be done at a grassroots level. At the national level, at the political level, it is tough to implement something. I always said, if anything has to happen from an anti-conversion law or an anti-missionary law, people like me have to be in the government. Okay, because Christians need to be in the government. Okay, because we are best in terms of putting this kind of thoughts in the government and working it out. The anti-conversion law is something which is the need of the hour. I know there's a lot of work that needs to be done because it's not easy, because as per the constitution, it is a state subject. It is not a national subject. But we also need to go, if you go to the right to religion, the right to religion has 3 clauses, which is right to practice, right to profess, and right to propagate. Okay. And as per my research, propagate was never part of the initial thought process and initial discussion in the right to religion. It was hijacked. I'm being very open in telling that. I hope everybody knows this. There was no word called propagate in the initial idea of right to religion. Only practice and profess was there, which is fair enough for a country like India. But propagate is something which is very synonymous to the Abrahamic religion. Okay. And I know very well, I've done a research, I've done a lot of studies on this. It was hijacked by 4 or 5 Christians who were there in the Constituent Assembly, who hijacked it and imposed it. And as usual, our Hindus are those people to chalne do. Today, what you see is that chalne do which happened in the Constitution Assembly. Had the Hindus put their foot down saying that, no, it will not happen, you would not have seen the situation. So we've given a long rope. I also want to bring to your notice that Israel had been facing similar such problems. Thankfully, when I went to the things what happened in Israel, they've been very watchful of the missionaries. So they have passed something called an anti-missionary law. So I'm calling the government to study something like that, make an exchange program with Israel and find out what are the things. In fact, I've been trying to get in touch with a couple of top Israel rabbis to understand what is the anti-missionary law, so that we can take that as a reference point to introduce in this country, because anti-missionary law is very, very important. Otherwise, this country is going to a different tangent altogether. We will be pawns. We will be pawns of the West, because the West is highly investing on these missionaries who are bent upon intruding into our society through various means, right? And the control mechanism is not very good. And the missionaries, with the help of these foreign funds and also the funds available organically, are able to go proceed at a much faster pace than the government can do. So my single idea to whomever I asked is, cut the nerve center. The nerve center is the funding. If you stop the funding, a lot of things will stop.
Namaste. We hope you enjoyed this Chitti Media content. Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.